the day the music died, and they were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. And good old boys was drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die. This'll be the day that I die. One of the worst songs ever sang. Music was great. The way, the style for the era. Wonderful song. Wonderfully produced. It just got worse from there. I mean, every type of LGBTQRA plus, all that stuff are it's coming from these demons.
We found a faster route.
And these demons were released through these spells that got casted on us. And I mean, it goes way back. Like, why'd they burn all them books? In the Middle Ages, why'd they burn all them books? That way they could rewrite history. And then King James was a politician. You know, they come up with this book and everything. They say, oh, it's from these scrolls and stuff. Did they take, like, did these people get together and come up with some shenanigans, write it down, convince everybody? They just psych them out where they do what they were told. And then the King of England, well, it did like Rome was like, hey, we can do this. And then the King of England's like, hey, it's my version, not old Slick over there. I don't want Slick to have power. Mr. P.O. He can't have power like this. That's my power. I'm the king. So he come out with his version. They ruined all the other books. Then they used the black magic on us. Convinced us of some stuff. Just enough spiritual to open up to the dark side. And then the little imps and demons and everything can have their way with you. See things that ought not. And you're like, wow, it's a miracle. You know? There was a group of them that said he's doing what he did through the power of Bub. Beetle Bailey, one of them, I don't know. Anyway, it's funny how that name made it, but God's name didn't make it. Oh, that's too holy, we can't say that. Give me a... I mean, they got us, bro. They got us. They tricked us all. They tricked us all. I mean, I ain't saying the Bible's incorrect. I do know there's a bunch of people that said some stuff was going to happen. And then they said it happened. And then in 1947, Israel came together as a nation. My grandpa told me about that. And there's a country over there called Israel. I don't know that everybody came back, though. And then there's the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, what's up with that? Okay, so some guys are, you know, playing in the hills and throw a rock in a cave and hear something break. They go in and they find this ancient hidden library. Okay. And they translated it and they said, yep, it's says the same thing. Here's the book of Isaiah. Now and then. We got proof. Look, we found this rolled up. It says the same thing it's been saying all this time. Sweet. It's a miracle. Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. It's pretty wild. But then, no, Charlie's neck couldn't stop a 30-06. So this piece of paper made it 3,000 years. We don't think Charlie's neck can hold up. I think a drone in the shape of a mosquito landed on the back of his neck, blowed his head off. That's what I think. That's a completely independent thought of anything. I have not seen another person say that, for the record. But, hey. It is what it is. Man, that's a really old bridge over there. I'd pick this thing up and show it to you, but you want to see it? Get out here and drive around yourself, I guess. I seen this thing that was being advertised. Book of Wisdom, it said. I was looking at that, and I'm seeing what they were saying. A little of this, a little of that. On the twisting. I seen this other stuff. And it's just, it's all, man, Satan is like it's like if you're going to go fishing, man, you got to put some bait on the hook. You know what I mean? This fish, he's been eating worms his whole life. He swims along there, sees a worm, and he eats it. They say, you know, he gets snagged, pulled out of the water. He went from having breakfast to being breakfast. Because the fishermen put a worm on a hook. So they're not just gonna trick you. You know what I mean? They're gonna use some stuff to trick you into it. And the extreme difficulties will show you who's who. Where the rubber meets the road. If I was running the country, I would want everybody in the country to be reading the Bible. I know that for sure. For sure. Because they would be easily controlled. You know? On the other hand, the other team, Team Snack Bar, the Aloha Snack Bar crowd, they had a little bit to it, talk about it's okay to lie and kill the people that don't believe the same thing that we believe. So, Group A, forgiveness. Group B, kill them if they don't change their mind. Well, if we let this play out, kill them if they don't change their minds, probably going to overpower the other, unless there's some kind of divine intervention, obviously. And the book says there's divine intervention. I tend to believe it. I like to go back and question why I believe the things I believe. I did like, could there be a different supernatural power that I am witnessing in my life doing these things?
In half a mile, use the left 2 lanes to turn slightly left to stay on I-81 North. Signs for I-78, Hazleton.
Telling me which way to go. What to do. I've been following for a long time.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn slightly left to stay on I-81 North. Signs for I-78, Hazleton. Continue on
truth. So what is truth? Define truth. Truth. The quality or state of being true. Oh, here's one. You'll love this one. Define insanity. Insanity. Extreme foolishness or irrationality. 2. Inability to think and behave in ways considered to be normal and rational, especially on account of serious mental illness. But if you ask most people, they'll say insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Extreme foolishness or irrationality. It's not rational. Define rational. Rational. Based on or in accordance with reason and logic. I don't know why my freaking jibs got itchy right there. What does that mean? What does that mean? Is that irrational? Make you think. Oh, these other books talk a lot about symbolisms and stuff. Symbolisms, embolisms, aneurysms. I don't know. These are all just words. When you're in the cornfield and there's too many ears, little stuff can mean enormous things. So when we look to the symbolism, there's a guy, Adapt 2030. He talks about the alignment of the stars, and you always see these ships with these giant waves and all kinds of stuff. He's like, it's pointing to something, it's pointing to something. And everything lined up and nothing happened. It's just funny to me. It's so funny to see these people time and time again connect these dots that are not there. You see old Bummer, he said, just tell them this, tell them that, tell them this, tell them that. Pretty soon, they can't trust one another, they can't trust the government, they can't trust the police. I just watched a thing last night with 2 sheriffs, and they were talking about being a free citizen or whatever, free radical. No, that's a medical thing. Some kind of alternate government. Something about getting rid of the USAINC. Yeah. Of course, they'll be like, they owe us money. Yeah, good luck collecting that. What is a birth certificate? I'm telling you, man, this shit's been going on hundreds of years. The document you want to look up, and it's true. I mean, it's true. Like, I don't know how many times I've said this on video. I've made videos about it that immediately get deleted. Immediately. Silent weapons for quiet wars. Silent weapons for quiet wars. And I seen a document. A guy showed me a document one time, long time ago. And it was back in the pot smoking days. And I thought this was just some old weird guy. You know what I mean? And, you know, we'd go over there and get some weed off of him or whatever. And this dude, he had these old documents that looked like, it was almost like the old World War II training manuals. That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like. And that was the first time I seen silent weapons for quiet wars. I was amazed. And then, like, the more psycho you are, if you're willing to hold this information and you've been selected to get the document or whatever like that, and then, like, you're, all about business, stand 10 toes in on business. Is that what the kids are saying these days? So if you're some psycho that doesn't mind watching everybody else die, like, George Soros during the Nazi season, if you're that type of individual, that's the type of person that they use to propagate and instill the values in these other people. And of course the fact they're in control of everything ain't nothing to sneeze at. But if you got a bunch of soft-headed people that you're trying to lead, and you're just real dedicated, the mentioning of the evil in question form, seeing the reaction in the leadership, well, it's an indicator that's quite surprising. And when you see these people in prominent positions, especially in the church, you will see that, they were some kind of bad guy and now they repented, right? So there's some type of, history of ought not, to whatever degree. And then, some repentance, forgive me. They begin to follow the way to whatever degree. They get so far into it, they lose their edge. Like, at first they'll have strong convictions because they're real close to the pain of coming away from their sin, right? So they'll have these very sharp convictions. I think it's in Revelation, talking to one of the churches, he says, remember the heights from which you have fallen. And then I think the most current version is calling someone a Torah terrorist. Back in my day, it was called the Bible thumper. They point out what the Bible said and just like, look right here, real excited about it, zealous. They lose that. Sometimes they'll even apologize for it. Don't apologize for that. That was your strength. That was when you were standing right next to the fire and you felt the heat. You got away from the heat. Found a different way. The sports ball people, the extremely upper echelon of sports ball, you'll see stuff like Tom Brady's wife is a witch. The Kardashian mama was doing some kind of soul cooking. She's like sacrificing all these dudes. And then her kids go on and do the same thing with their witchcraft, where they're just sacrificing these dudes, putting them through whatever kind of stuff for their own personal gain, wealth, prestige, stuff like that. How much a willing participant they are, I don't know. That's a good question. That's, doesn't matter. The evidence shows the outcome, the death, Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. They put all this work into it. They got the tools, the vehicle to get there. When they got they found a dry hole. There was nothing there. They sought the living water and they found the desert, the dry places. Thousand roads. Where are they going? Where do they lead? What road are you on? Which way are you going? Where are you going to wind up? Well, I can't even bring myself to say it. Can't even bring myself to say it. If you can read your book, pick a translation, and find one that's accurate all the way through, I'd be surprised. I would be very surprised. And if such a book does exist, and nobody's pointing it out, and for the record, I think such a book does exist, and I think it's hidden. I think it's hidden. And there's just enough goodness given to everybody for certain things to play out. It's like you got this whole book and then they tear out part of the book and they give the rest of it to you. You can find the rest of it if you seek it. If you seek it. But you ain't going to do it chasing money. You can't serve God and Mammon. You can't do it. You can't serve the money. You can't be chasing the money. Dedicated to, I see this thing I wanted. Just get all wrapped around the axles. I want this more than anything. Just dedicate your life to chasing this thing. Then you get there and you look around and you're like, this is empty. There's more to it than that. And God will allow you to do those things, and He'll allow you to get those skills and go through those hardships and stuff. But are you going to change? Can you lay it down? It's difficult for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. Jesus told an old boy, He said, sell everything you have, give the proceeds to the poor, pick up your cross and follow me. What would that man have gained? It says he walked away sad, so he didn't do it. What would he have gained if he did? You see these monks and stuff, they'll just give up everything to go live somewhere, and who knows what goes on. But what if a man did that by himself? Well, hand out these Bibles. I hope I'll hand some Bibles out. I'm going to encourage everybody the best I can. But you get on this deal and you don't see me for, I don't know, 30 days straight. I have gone to the mountain and I'm not coming back. For real. Like, that's what's up. I don't care who's got what to say about what. You know what I mean? It's just a little while till I got a few more loose ends wrapped up, and then I'll be able to step out from underneath any obligations and responsibility to mankind, and I can go follow God the way He tells me. And if that's stay, make more videos, then I guess I got.
In 2 miles, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 89 for I-78 East toward Allentown.
That's guys for today. I guess I'm going to drive through Allentown. Take these TVs over here. I'm delivering TVs today that are specifically for hotels. Everybody's like, well, the TVs, you know, you're watching the TV. Like when you was a kid, you remember thinking, man, I wonder if this TV can see me. These back here in this truck, yeah, they can. Yeah. There's a channel on them that the, can watch just like this camera's filming me. Yeah. And they're putting them in hotels all across the Northeast. Whole semi-load of them. And they're specifically hotel TVs. I think every smart TV can do it, don't get me wrong. But this is the new improved ultra high grade that's even got the above water sonar. We'll just leave it like that. And yeah.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 89 for I-78 east toward
Doesn't that sound
Allentown.
weird? Doesn't that sound cryptic? Anyways, it's just overlap because there's 2 devices saying the same thing, slightly attitude. That's why it sounds that way.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 89.
Evil sounding, ain't it? God bless.
Continue for
shit.
51 miles.
The whole thing is evil. I don't know how anybody's going to get away from it. When they say it's a narrow path and only a few find it, I'm telling you right now, I don't see how anybody's going to live in 2025 with any type of success without a phone. And the phone is definitely dabbling in witchcraft, for sure, which is detestable. And it's got a lot of numbers involved. And every one of them is a part of a system, you know, controlled by the government. The beast system and the pharmakeia run by the merchants of the earth. So what you gonna do? You know what I mean? And pointing all this stuff out, you know, it ain't like, this is not, you know, I'm better than you, I figured it out. This is, I'm as guilty as everybody else. What do I do now? I mean, let's be real clear about this video. We're all guilty. We're all tolerating these filthy sodomites that are running the nation. That's a fact. That's a fact. And I'm telling you, you go back 4 or 5 generations and snatch that guy off the prairie, send him right here in one of these trucks, and say, hey, this is what's going on, what do we do? And I mean, this guy, yeah, they won't make it to the end of the first day in 2025 without shedding someone's blood. Righteously, too. Let's not say, you know, this guy's some psycho from the prairie. I mean, this is just a dude that's just like not going to tolerate evil. And that's where we're at. That's what they're counting on. So on the one hand, you ain't got no balls and you sit down to pee. And on the other hand, you rear up, now they got an excuse to take you out. The funniest part about it is, not funny ha-ha, but the funniest part about it, the disgusting, twisted funny, is that they even put that in the document. Even the ones that know will not be able to escape. I think I figured a way to escape them. I think I figured a way. It's the only way. The only way. have to find that for yourself. You're not going to get that. Nobody's going to tell you that. Nobody's going to take you down that path. You're going to have to find that path and walk it yourself. And again, this is not something I have done. It's not something that you've done, or you wouldn't have a phone to be listening to this. If you're listening to this, you ain't done it either. And I kind of get what an old boy was saying. It's probably been, I don't know, every bit of 8 years ago. There was a guy on here, and he was talking about detaching from the system and everything, and what that would look like, and yada yada. And he just disappeared. I ain't heard nothing else from the guy. And then I know a couple of other old boys, and from real life, from the really real world, not the web of Satan. Just get caught up so they can suck your blood out like a fucking spider.
There are police reported ahead. There are police reported ahead.
Sounds like there's spiders up here. Man, could you imagine that? Could you imagine being a law enforcement officer and then find out that you're enforcing Satan's hand upon the people? Man. Very difficult. Very difficult to navigate. But you can get over it if you're a psycho. Yeah, there will be a day where I won't make no more videos. One way or another. And I think that regardless of your translation, I think you can't get the gist of what the Creator's talking about. And you can see through the bullshit of what everybody tries to tell you and bring it back down to what's real in reality. And you can find that path. And it directly hangs on morals and ethics. You know, the morals and ethics of Jesus Christ. That is, I mean, the key to the kingdom right there. That unlocks all the rest of the doors. It unlocks every door. Every door. And there's a test at every opportunity. And one of these things, I shit you not, are you going to follow God? Are you going to be so close to God that you accept His vision for you? Or are you going to come up with some bullshit on your own? I mean, it's it is what it is. I mean, I don't know how to articulate in a eloquent manner to where it's digestible, but you're in fucking danger big time, bro. You are in fucking major danger. I mean, intense, very, very destination deciding danger. And when you do these things under false pretenses and all sort of kind of stuff, yeah, it's not good. It's beyond not good. And for what? Some money? You know what I mean? Some money that you're going to spend on stuff? You know? Like, I've walked with no money. Just with the intention of doing right by God and all my needs be met. I think that's where I got a different ability than what I see in these other people. I don't think they've done that. I don't think these people that are telling you all this stuff, that they're, I'm sure they've had their hardships or whatever like that. But in those hardships, did they just serve God? Or in those hardships, did they do what it takes and sacrifice their break their bodies and you know, do whatever it took to get the money and all this kind of stuff? Because I've done that too. I've done the overworking try to make it work out, press on through the pain and all this kind of stuff. And I've let go of it and just been like, hey, I'm just going to do this for God. I know God wants me to do this. And then I did it. And I see the results of that, which is way better. Way better. So I'm not going to get wrapped up into all this nonsense. I'm just going to do what God tells me to do specifically. And moment by moment, go with that. You know, I can think of, you know, living off green in the mountains and all sort of kind of stuff like that. You know, that's just like a daydream and a possibility, but is that me choosing to go do that? Yeah, it is. I'm a slave to righteousness. So I got to do what is righteous. And that's obedience. So I'm going to stick with that. I don't know how I can be obedient to God and come up with this whole other line of what I'm doing. Or go over here and do all this kind of stuff over there. And it plainly says do not turn to the right or the left. Look straight at Him. I think this entire video a 4-year-old child can explain to you. And that's how you really know the truth. You really want to ask the questions, go to the Sunday school. Ask a little kid. You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at what a little kid will tell you and how true it is. Change your whole life. Change your whole life. God bless the little children.